So now we will go to our last panel of the day about innovating together for a secure data space, sovereign and secure data space. And so we have Chara Vassiliadou, Cybersecurity Strategy Director of QUALCO Group. We have Vincent Megaides, Country Director for Thalès. And we have Rakitzis from CTO and co-founder of Mind the Hack. And just as an information, after that panel at 6 o'clock, there will be the closing remarks by Stavros Karafatis. And then you're all invited for a little drink in the courtyard.
Well, thank you so much for giving us the floor, and thank you so much for being here with me. And again, thank you for being so resilient and being here after so many hours. So we actually took the floor from a very interesting panel discussing how we need to be sovereign in our artificial intelligence and how to protect our data. And we're going to discuss now about security. And actually, there is no recent report I have read that doesn't stress enough how important security is, and that the cost actually it's not only financial, or it's not only about securing our data, but it's also emotional, and it's social, and it's really deeply rooted. So you're coming from three different sectors and aspects, and I think it will be really interesting to start the discussion about simply telling me which are the new trends that you've seen in the cyber threats, and I don't know, what's the most dangerous thing that you have witnessed the last, let's say, year? Let's go the round.
Thank you very much, Alexia. Thank you for attending this panel. Very pleased to be here. So, representing Thalès, what we see in the cyber world and what's new. If I say it's not new that we are facing huge threats in the cyber world, but maybe what's new, and it will make the link with the previous panel, is the extensive use of AI now and bots in the traffic, and the bad and malicious use, of course, of those technology. So I wonder if you have an idea of how much percentage represents the human traffic on internet right now.
No answer.
So it's less than 50%. It's 43% to be exact. That means that 57% of the traffic is bot, and out of it, 40% is bad bot who has malicious intention. So this is very tangible change. That means two things. That when we see, compared to, we have recently released, like every year, a threat analysis on what's going on the threats in cyber. We see a multiplication by more than 12 times compared to last year in terms of bots attack. 12 times more than last year. A quarter of those attacks are targeting financial services. So these are core numbers that give you an idea and the scale of what we are facing. And also what changed drastically compared to the previous year is now what I call the entry ticket. Usually in the past, cyber attacks were either coming from states or large criminal organization who has ability to invest in means and resources. Now with agentic AI, even a small organization, a small group of people with a little money can design very sophisticated attack at scale and change and have huge damage. We'll come back to the damage later, but this is for me the most critical change we have seen in the last 12 months.
Wow, that was impressive and quite frightening. Chara, have you seen what actually the newest threats that have you witnessed, and if you have actually seen such an increase like Vincent just described?
Yes, of course, I couldn't disagree with that. To be honest, I will start by name dropping some trends. Just not numbers, because you totally covered me on that. But we used to be afraid of phishing attacks. Now it's phishing attacks on steroids, because we have deep fakes. You don't even need to have a specific guy wearing the clothes that I cannot see the guy I mentioned before. You don't need to create a malware. We used to think that you need to create a malware, add it sneakily in an email or in a PDF or whatever, and then you get access into the internal network of a company. Now you don't need that. The AI technology is basically something that works very fast. So it is very easy to just activate an AI, scrolling into the internet tool. They can find a lot of open doors, vulnerabilities, things that someday we forgot about it. So you don't need any specialization, basically. Or we have the industrialization of AI, especially the tools around it. You can actually buy one. You don't need to know anything. You can go shopping. I want this tool, and I'm not laughing. This is very serious. You can buy these tools. From the other side, we have this alien-like malware that it can actually grow by itself. It can expand. So after name dropping the trends, to be honest, these attacks they were already out there. We used to have phishing attacks. We used to have malware, and we will still have it. But that will be on steroids, as I said before. And by the end of the day, everything was, and it still is, about the three pillars of cybersecurity, which is people, technology, and processes. Regardless of the specific process, the specific technology, if we don't understand these three aspects, we will have more new and unfortunately evolving attacks.
George, the floor is yours. And it's really...
Exactly.
The floor is dark.
It is very dark. Thank you for having me here and this opportunity to tell my opinion. I want to mention one thing that it's the main change. The transformation from VIP attacks to mass attacking. And let's discuss about this. Some years ago, there were only a few hackers that need a lot of knowledge and tactics to make an attack, phishing attack, malware, or whatever attack. Now, you just need a credit card, $20, an AI, no knowledge, and you can scale attack everywhere. You can you don't have problem with money, so you can just steal $100. You are $80 in revenue right now, and this is the main problem. And this is what we have to think about it, and we must change everything around us. Everything from education to protection to validation, everything must be changed.
You're in defense, finance, again, banking and finance, and you're also in education about protecting our data. Who are right now the actors? And I'm following up on George. We have just, lonely actors? Do we have nations? What's the actors behind the different threats and attacks?
Basically, we have three type of actors. You have states or agency linked with states or criminal groups linked with states. They are pursuing political goals. First type of actors. And usually they have access to tools, means that are quite resourceful. Then you have organized criminal organization that steal for or block you or attack you for money. And then, and this is new, you have very low-end criminal organization or even a lonely guy with $20 in hands that wants to launch an attack. And this is new because this portion, this third category of attackers is very new. And thanks to AI, is very resourceful now to find tools on the market very easily to build up sophisticated attack. So this is new because we cannot predict those kind of behaviors compared to the first two groups.
Chara, what have you seen?
Exactly the same. And additionally, we can see kids, 13 years old, that they need to bypass the parental control. They are vicious. They can do anything. They are the best hackers in the world. Indeed. And they can actually learn that in
Vincent
5
just
minutes.
nodding here. You cannot see him. He's like, yeah, that's it.
Of course. From the other hand, we have the machines themselves. It's the rise of the machines. And it sounds, again, like the doomsday, but the machine itself can talk to another one, and it's not an attack that is going to happen because of a very, I don't know, super motive. This is the thing with the attacks. When you are a very small business, a very small company, you are like, I don't know, a grocery store. Who is going to target me? I'm just selling apples. Yes, but that guy or that shop is the supply, part of the supply chain of the Secretariat of Defense of something. And it's the easiest target. So you actually become the main target. Because in the old days, and I'm talking like a really old woman right now, but they were not like, I'm going to send you what I want via an email or something. It's like, hello, Nikos, come on, I need apples and oranges. No, now everything is electronic. So even the smallest, it's not only the actors, but the targets have changed. The means have changed and the motives. You just have, I don't know, someone that was very upset with a receptionist in a hotel. He or she could actually be a threat actor because, oh no, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to you. So they create a fake profile with the same name and so on and so forth. So the threat actors are a lot because the motivation is changing, the attack surface is changing, and you cannot understand the supply chain and you cannot actually follow it throughout an attack path.
George, given what you said, I understand that there are multiple actors and multiple impacts. According to your experience, according to the people that come to mind the hack, what is the cost of a threat, of an attack, of a successful attack in multiple layers?
Great. First of all, the cost is not about money. I think the most cost is about trust. We must build trust with our customer. We must build trust with everyone, every people outside. You have to trust your bank to put your money in. You have to trust the government to give your information, to get the new ID and everything. So this is what we should think. We should talk with more people. We must understand how they are thinking, and we must do whatever needs to gain their trust by telling the truth. One very big problem that we see in many companies is that they're very afraid to tell that I got hacked. Yes, I installed this library and I got hacked. And because of this, next day, the other company got hacked too. This is the main problem, and this is what we should change first.
explain more or less what you're doing in mind the hack to understand how this,
Yes, thank you for this. Okay, the attack surface changes every day. That means that there are not many people to test it, to understand it, and to no problem. And to
circulate.
and to check their defenses. So we created a platform, Mind the Hack platform, which automates the offensive layer of a company. It conducts security assessment like penetration test, vulnerability assessment, attack surface management, asset inventory based on the cybersecurity assets without human in the loop. We created our own workflow, and with the use of AI, we have over 150,000 live IPs that we check daily. And we are the only European-based company that natively give all these tools to our customers. We have critical infrastructures as customers like airports, banking, retail companies, energy. And this is what we do. We are a hacker that is trying to hack our customers and identify their vulnerabilities and the attack paths that may gain sensitive information or full access to the organization.
Thank you. That was really clear. So I'm getting to Chara. In this environment that you have just described, what is the cost of threats to your clients? And you're like a security expert. What's your role actually in this so fast-paced changing environment?
Thoughts and prayers. This is what we do. And you do have the bee behind you. We need to do something about that bee. So I will totally agree with you saying that the cost is trust. But not only trust in the authority, trust in our own eyes, trust in our own mind. I don't trust someone calling me from my own bank. Let's forget about the bank. I'm more weird than that. I got a call yesterday from my dentist that I need to go for my checkup. And I'm like, are you sure? Tell me your name. Tell me your ID. So we are a bit, okay, we are weird. Cybersecurity people are a bit weird. But this is the way everything leads. The loss of trust to the government, trust to the news, trust, everything, trust. And the worst thing is that we lose control. With everything that is happening, we are losing control of the things that we need to regulate, the things that we need to say and inspire. We are losing control of the processes because we are trying to sandbox them, protect them. We forget something. So it's like running without any reason. So we are losing, and we are losing our patience. We are losing. We need to stay calm. We need to breathe and further understand what is happening. Because when we hear and read a lot of things, we get suspicious all the time. And me asking my dentist her ID. But these three, we lose trust, we lose control, and we are losing our peace of mind, actually, which is a personal and professional aspect of all of this.
Vincent, at least in Greece, I guess in the whole Europe, we combine Thalès with also national security and strategy. What is the cost that you have seen from your aspect and from your role that I understand it can be even more sensitive?
This is a very interesting question about the cost of an attack and how we evaluate it. So, because I'm an engineer, I like numbers, so I try to prepare something a bit more tangible. Interestingly, there is some research that I try to evaluate what are the financial costs of an attack. And in fact, there is two types of costs. The direct cost, which means the loss of the money you will spend because you lose days of operations, or you will have to recover from a file, or hire some specific supplier to recover from the situation. And there is the indirect cost, that is the long-term damage due to the lack of trust in your customer in the future, and the reputation. And some researchers have tried to quantify this, and we'll give you an example that something happened to, okay, it's not in defense, but I think we can see similarities, and I will come back to defense after. In the financial market, in 2017, there was a company called Equifax. This company was doing quite large financial services, financial data, customer data, and they were having a 17 billion market cap. They were hacked under a large cyber attack, and 130 million of their customer data were stolen. Okay. What has been the direct cost of this attack? Estimated $80 to $100 million. What has been the indirect cost of this attack? They have lost $6 billion in market cap in the following months. So there is, in the management literature, and when you look at it, there is a ratio 1 to 10, potentially 1 to 20, between the direct cost and then the cost to your reputation and the lack of trust of your customer at the end. So of course, as a defense company, we are very sensitive to that, because beyond the direct costs, if we lose the trust of our customer that are using our product for the most sensitive, let's say, mission, which is defend and protect our countries, of course, the indirect cost in terms of reputation can be worth of $1 billion in that case. So this is a very serious question.
And what can you do, like as a company? What's the strategy that you're developing in order not only to deal with the current attacks, but actually foresee what's coming next?
There is no single answer to this, but let's say several layers of strategy. So first and foremost, as we understand, and we have through the panel, we have very well described what could be the environment, and a very difficult environment. First, I truly believe that it's a worldwide threat. There is no border. So that means that we need also to have a worldwide answer to this one. So it requires probably that we have players and partnership to be able to play at scale. Because when you detect an attack at the end of the world, in Japan, in Australia, probably it will happen. They will use the same modus operandi 2 days after in Europe, and so on. So it goes very quickly. And this ability to have a worldwide mapping is something that we take very seriously. And this is what we have set up, because we have, in Thalès, we are operating 8 operation centers for cybersecurity across the globe, and we are monitoring all these threats from a global perspective. Second strategy is we use in cyber to design walls to protect our infrastructure, our network from the outside. I think it's needed, but it's not enough. We need also to protect the data itself, to protect the app. Thalès has been now since many years #1 in app security and data security, because beyond the wall, you need to protect what is inside and to make sure that people are not manipulating your data. So this is also a second layer of protection. The third one, and I really emphasize what George was saying, is to conduct exercise, to be prepared for this. So doing penetration tests, doing exercise, rehearse your team, be prepared for this. In Thalès, for example, we have developed Cyber Range, which is a digital twin to replicate an infrastructure and to really stress this digital twin in order to show vulnerabilities before we discover them on the field and in reality.
Chara, as a security manager, which are the ways, actually the path forward in order to start controlling this uncontrollable environment?
First, you start by stepping back. See what you have right now. Because sometimes we read a lot, we get anxious, we are doing some reactive things, So we need to understand what we have, as to understand what are the measures that we should take. If you have a nuclear factory, it's completely different strategy. So you need to understand what you have as far as the business concerned, as far as the people concerned. How much can you lose? How much money can you lose? Or how much downtime can you have? You need to acknowledge these metrics and add them in the strategy bowl and take the next steps, like training your people. Not your cybersecurity people, your people in general, starting from the boardroom. This is, in order for a strategy to be effective, it needs to be a conversation where usually 10 men, sorry for that, 10 men and 2 women are somewhere, the marketing and some legal, they are around and taking the decisions, and there is no cybersecurity discussion in there. They can talk about recycling, they can talk about EFG, but still cybersecurity, someone knocking at the door saying, please give me 5 minutes, 5 minutes, just for you to understand what I want to say. The other thing is that we as a professionals, we should do something about the way we are talking about cybersecurity. No one understands us. We are all alone. We are saying that you are going to die. You are going to have I don't know, this attack, and we need to know our audience, try to make them understand, like we did right now, by examples, by discussing, understanding that the people down there, if you started talking about 0 day, and we will lose them completely. So this is the strategy, and by the end of the day, you need to have a target, small targets. You cannot go above and beyond. So in QUALCO, because I'm not the CISO of the company, I'm responsible for all the cybersecurity strategy of 14 or 16 different companies of the group. Each company has its own set of services, set of products, platforms, because QUALCO is about technology, innovation, and platforms, things that address to multiple different industries. So the role there is for me to understand everything that they offer and create one collaborative thing that will be called, I don't know the name, but it will be the One Cyber, where everyone can join. Every innovative product, because without collaboration, which is the fourth part of the strategy, we cannot move forward. We should collaborate together. We can add your own platform, your own innovation. We are already doing that, by the way. And this is the way to move forward, actually.
Is it hard to convince, let's say, your people, your colleagues, to start integrating cybersecurity in their own policy?
Yes, of course. I usually start by bringing them food. Bugatsa works very good. So I bring them food because I cannot bring alcohol, compliance things. So they are happy. And by the end of the day, I'm talking human. It's not easy because the thing with cybersecurity is that it is an aftermath. So they started developing the MVP, the final product, and then they said, okay, now let's add cybersecurity. This costs a lot. It's like building a wall and say, oh, I really wanted a door back there. That will be costly. But they understand, because the only way for people to work together, besides Bugatsa, is if they have a common target. And if they get paid emotionally, thus qualitative KPIs, or paid in general.
George, have you seen a difference in your audience, like the last clientele, the last 3-4 years, like more companies or different companies coming in order to be able to be trained, in order to be more prepared?
I can say 15 days, not 4 years. Yes. I remember the day that we start our company 4 years ago, around 4 years ago. We have some investors and they told them, look, we can automate penetration testing. And they called us crazy. You cannot, you absolutely not. Now, everyone wants Mythos to conduct the security assessment for them. They don't trust the person, they trust the AI. This is a major change. And for me, it's a very good change because everyone understood that they should be protected. They should educate their people, protect their companies, and validate that their protection is okay.
How about governmental bodies? Do they trust you to get trained?
Can you no? Can you?
I knew that was gray zone. How you have, like, I mean, this is also a matter of access, right? How a company like a medium or a bigger company can actually have the means to create all the measures that are necessary. Do you think that there has to be some measures, or there has to be a new framework, even from the European Union, in order, or national framework, in order to strengthen these companies to take these measures? And let's take this round from George to Chara and Vincent.
Well, framework is a must because we are not mature enough. And this is the main problem. If you need the government to come and say, you should defend yourself or I will fine you, you are not ready. You have a very big problem. If you want to know that if I got hacked, I will lose, let's say, 100,000 euros, this is a problem. You must be protected. You must, I will say this again because it's very important, you must educate your people to understand the risk. You must protect these people from the risk, and you must validate that they are protected. It is very important.
I'm not sure if we need more regulations. Sorry for that. We need, first of all, to understand the ones that we have. We need a way to automate the process of actually implementing them into our own products, platforms, company. But, you know, if you want to do that, you need to pay a person, a cybersecurity person, a lot of money to do so. So what I would suggest is fund these small, medium companies of Greece. They are 90%, and they are not, they do have a lot of customers. They are part of a great supply chains. We can see that with the programs of the European. We can see small companies contributing to large and highly critical projects. But who has money to actually have an asset, a resource of cybersecurity with the salaries that are a big theme here, or having dedicated people for the technological aspect of cyber? So if you are a startup, you are developing a new, I don't know, application for something, it's an expensive sport. So I would suggest automating a bit the regulations. And what I mean by that, just create tools to understand, recognize. If you talk to any product owner, the first thing that they are saying is, please, can you do something to automate the controls, not to actually put 8 hands on it. So this is the first, the most important. And the second, they need some kind of funding. It is too much to ask for a small supplier to pay so much money.
Vincent, what is your experience?
I think it's part of the discussion of today in this innovation forum. we don't need more regulation. It's very good to have on the market large companies that play at scale, to have smaller companies, startups that can bring innovation or are very specialized in niche, and all this ecosystem can work together. What I call is not for regulation, is for more collaboration. I mean, how we can enhance public and private collaboration. Because let's be clear, most of the digital infrastructures are owned by private sector currently. But the governments are responsible for national security. And now the cyberspace is a matter of national security. So how we have ways to enhance the collaboration between governments and private sector, how we are boosting, we are more quick in our common answers, we are sharing intelligence, we are doing joint exercise, we have a framework to report incident, is for me how we boost the collaboration. Doesn't mean that we are not going as private companies to continue to compete on the market, and this is very good for the innovation. But at least we have a common framework where we can share what's going on in the cyberspace, because this is national interest at the end.
Are we lagging behind in this aspect, or is there any successful paradigm to share?
I think we can share more, and at national level, at European level, we can share more, and I think it's sometimes in the interest beyond the commercial interest of the company, will be in the national interest of the private sector to share more, also with the governments. Yes, there is ways for improvements, I'm sure.
Very diplomatically said. Chara, do we need more partnerships, and have you seen any change in the mentality the last few years?
Yes, just to be optimistic, yes, of course. We used to be very in our own silos, even in our own companies. So let's start with the company itself and expand it. Now, I believe that the past years we have a lot of these kind of situations. We have people with common interests, even from the cybersecurity or the industry part or whatever. And we have more motives. And by motives, I mean, for example, European projects or anything else that will be funded by the government. So you have the money and you can collaborate. And then you will be worried about the IP of the whole ecosystem. This is another thing. But it obviously gets better. We need more motives, I think. Not only financial ones, but we need to have communities that we can safely, let's say, share some innovative thinking. We can collaborate. You can pitch something that it's a very interesting start and someone else can contribute. This is, like I told you before, this is what we want to do with QUALCO. Just create this space for an open dialogue. You don't steal anything, and we will share money by the end of the day.
George, have you seen any good examples of this kind of sharing and partnership and platforms that actually have helped businesses, startups, everything?
Yes. I was in Paris last week in a Greek embassy. We present our platform there. There were many companies, VCs. We also visited Cyber Campus, which it was extreme. It was something that I want yesterday here in Greece. And what I want to say is that what I learned from this trip and other trips in European countries that we need to be more European than Greeks. We have to travel a lot. We have to try and understand what other countries do well, like France. They do great things. We must copy them. Exactly. How you did this? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Get funding and go and do it here in Greece or to another European country. And if we collaborate as Europeans, we can get in the race against USA, against China, against everyone. But this is the first thing. And one thing that I also want to mention is that I believe that Europe has to create its own fund and don't let the greatest companies to be to go to USA or to another continent. They will stay here, like let's say Mistral. It's a great company. It's the only AI company in Europe. We should give them whatever they want to keep them here, and every company in Europe.
And I guess they would need a resilient, let's say, European cyberspace. Do you see people, you're an expert in this, and do you see people being interested in actually being trained in cybersecurity, and I mean experts in following that path? Or sometimes it's even hard to find talented people in this sector?
Yes, I see more people than 3 years ago, and this is I'm very happy about it. You can find people with great knowledge that they can build the technology for tomorrow. Also, I can see a transformation in the education. I can see my professor here, Mr. Panagiotis, that I just learned that he's in cybersecurity in West Attica University. What I don't remember if there was such a department in 2017. So we do step forward. And if you educate people, you can find them. The problem is that I believe cybersecurity should start from primary school, not from university or worst, from the company. The people should come educated in the company.
To change the culture, I mean, the whole thing. Vincent, is it hard to find people, experts in cybersecurity?
I would say yes and no. There is a certain level of war talent to get the right expert in cyber, but that's okay. We can still find a lot of talent here in Greece, but all globally in Europe, it's feasible. So this is a positive way of thinking. The negative way of thinking is today we are finding people that are trained on the current technology and the current cyber war. So people that are younger generation that use agentic AI, that are using LMM, that are able to develop strategies using the current tools. But what about the next war? What about when quantum will come into the pace in 5 years, 6 years? You have already states or criminal organizations that harvest now the data, are not able to decrypt them, but they believe in 5 years, with quantum technologies, they could decrypt. So this is all the strategy to harvest now, decrypt later. How do we have the next generation of engineers that will be able to deal with quantum cyber? No, not yet. We need to train them, we need to find them, to train them. And so we need to not only think about the talent war and the resources for the current challenge, but also the next challenge that will come soon in the next coming years. So this is half-half.
This is a question for the three of you. We mentioned states, we mentioned institutions like European Union and the framework, we mentioned businesses. Are there any other actors that you think they need to collaborate in order to eliminate this kind of risks and make them actually, somehow confront the responsibility? Let's say we had an example here in Greece. There were people with deep fakes in with Meta accounts trying to sell drugs. They were pretending that they were doctors with the deep fake videos, and there were people actually buying these drugs, and thankfully there was no harm. But this is something that happens. Do you think that we need to bring in this discussion other actors? And how easy is this when the other actors are not inside the European Union? This is for all of you. Chara and then George.
Beyond the border, to stay in Europe, I think actors such as insurance, must be involved, because at the end, okay, I'll be a bit blunt, but we know that in the current situation, we know that either public organization or private organization will suffer from cyber attack. It's not if it will happen. It will happen. The question is when. And the most important question for a company like us is how you are prepared to respond, to minimize the damages, to recover fast, and to overcome the situation. So it's how you manage a crisis to have the minimum impact on your operations. So for this, not only we need to collaborate with organizations, states, European unions, also with other companies and the innovation ecosystem, but also we need to take into account that this will generate impacts that we will try to minimize. So we need to involve also all the players that could also ensure. It's like a risk. Cyber now is a risk like others. And we can evaluate that risk, we can protect, we can minimize that risk, and we can minimize the impact of that risk. The question is how you ensure, for example, and we have not yet fully this debate in the community on cyberspace, how insurance are playing the game.
Chara?
Talking about more threat actors that we cannot predict. In order to do so, you need creativity, because you cannot predict something if you don't have the experience of it. We do know that there are a lot of illegal communities with drugs, children, and everything, which I don't want to go into these details. So what do we need is to expand our own limits, like cybersecurity. You said before that Europeans, we need to stick together and we shouldn't think so much like Greeks. I'm very fond of hybrids. I think that when you combine different cultures, different mindsets, you create something new. When you combine additionally different technologies. So if you combine cybersecurity with, I don't know, with neuroscience, you get to understand how the human brain of an evil person works and what motivates him or she. If we're talking about ethics, it's a completely different story. We have psychology. So we don't only, this is the only way, if we combine different disciplines, because in technology, we are very used to think about zero and ones and be in our own not out of the box space. We need to add more ideas. We need to add more disciplines on this matter. I don't know, even watch a movie, even creative and actual things that will make us creative, and we can predict or understand how things work beyond our own little, small world. That's why we need also, just the previous question, to have the talent. Talents are everywhere. I was talking to a woman that was working in a nuclear factory, and she wanted to change profession, and she came to the cybersecurity. So you can find talent if you have the whole process of onboarding and inspiring.
Thank you. George?
I would say that this is the best time that you can be protected. You have everything. You need a very small budget to be proactive, to enhance your defenses, to validate them with penetration testing or attack surface management. There is a lot of knowledge, and of course there is AI everywhere that can help you integrate everything. So it's just a choice not to do it.
Which is your worst fear when it comes to cybersecurity?
AI.
Huh?
As I told you before, lack of imagination.
Vincent?
The merger of 4 technologies that are today a bit separated, because this is For example, in this forum, it's separated topic, but for me, this will merge cyber, quantum, AI, and edge computing. When it will merge, it will be terrible.
Okay, thankfully we just mentioned all the remedies of what you have you have said. So hopefully with change of culture, funding, framework, partnership, we can build a more resilient European cyber space. So we can hope that we've seen that in the next years, months,
Dave?
yesterday. Thank you again for all your attention. Thank you for this panel. Thank you for this discussion.